Hello, members, and thank you very much for your support. And you overwhelmingly chose A History of Losing, according to Nick Wright, by the Bald Head Kid as the video you wanted me to respond to first. 150 votes, 62% of the votes. Eventually I'll make this public, so greetings to everyone, but a special thanks to the members supporting me during these trying times of YouTube. Let's get going. So I'm pausing it already. We got some good production effort here. I did go and take a look at Bald Head Kid. I was curious who he was. According to YouTube, Bald Head Kid channel has been up for 17 years, or at least the oldest video I found was 17 years ago. And it's interesting, you know, this history of losing omits 2018-2019, which was also a season of failure for the Lakers with LeBron James present. But this is going to focus on Nick Wright's bold predictions and complete failure to be correct. So, fair enough.
All right, first round in the West right now. And I got the Lakers in 6. And the Lakers easily dispatch of the Nuggets in 5. And then the Western Conference Finals, Lakers, Clippers, going to be a classic. And it is Lakers in a gentleman's sweep. Now to the East, and the Sixers move on. Sixers in 7 over the Milwaukee Bucks, which would set up a Lakers-Sixers NBA Finals, which, Brandon, was my preseason NBA Finals, I may mention. This is a good, not an all-time, but a good NBA Finals. Lakers in 6. LeBron gets championship ring number 5.
Wow. Before we even get further, I'm just going to say that there is an umbrella theme of people being able to talk big and suffer no consequences when they can't back it up. Whether that is LeBron tweeting, whether that is LeBron on his podcasts, you know, whether it's players today, whether it's players in the NBA, or whether it's players out on the pickup court, or whether it's an analyst such as Nick Wright. There are no consequences for running your mouth and then being wrong, which is terrible. Like, you used to be humiliated and you learned to shut the F up. No one learns to shut the F up anymore because there aren't any consequences.
James missing again at the foul line. A whistle. James goes down hard to the court.
I mean, a lot of Braun fans will say that that was indeed a foul by Chris Paul and a dirty play. That was a flop. LeBron James just hurtling his body in a direction that has nothing to do with what Chris Paul did. So, you want to call a foul on Chris Paul? Go ahead. Also give LeBron James the technical for the flop, which is what the NBA is supposed to be doing.
Ball off the Ayton screen. Booker on Caruso. Got inside, over Davis, too late.
Devin Booker, 34 points, 8 assists. Suns take game 1, 99-90.
He was a ghost.
Oh boy. Here comes the blame game. So, of course, this is Nick Wright's way of not really being wrong, because he would have been correct. If only Anthony Davis or whoever took the blame the most this time. The one thing we know is that it won't be on LeBron.
I don't even care that he was missing jump shots. I care that he was only taking jump shots, and he seemed to not even be interested in rebounding the basketball. So Anthony Davis obviously has to be better. I still feel very confident about Lakers in 6, but they need to make some adjustments immediately.
Bald Head Kid, I'm just going to shout you out. This is fantastic. Great work. I'm really enjoying this. So here we are adding to LeBron's legacy of having leads and managing to not win.
Nick, I'll start with you. Is this series now over after what you saw last night?
Of course, Jenna. It's because the Suns have no answer for Anthony Davis, and they have no answer for LeBron James, who is quite literally just trying out new things on the basketball court to keep himself entertained. Like,
wow.
So the Lakers have one thing that no other team in the league has had all year, which is game in, game out, no matter what lineup is out there, no matter who's healthy or who's not, stifling, choking defense. And so when you add to that, LeBron as the, hand on the joystick, as Brian Windhorst would say, and Anthony Davis playing like Anthony Davis, you've got no shot. They are dominating this team because they have the greatest player ever, because Anthony Davis is back to being Anthony Davis, and because their calling card of playoff-level A+ defense has been there from Game 1, and it was there at Game 75 last night. So yes, Brandon, this series is over. Guess what LeBron knows?
That's a long clip. I'm surprised Baldhead Kid didn't get a copyright. So I'm going to pause it. Nick Wright is so confident in LeBron James that he says LeBron James is bored and having to find ways to entertain himself. So there's no excuse available for losing this series. There's no excuse available for losing this series. I don't care who the rest of LeBron's teammates are. If it's so easy for you because you're that good that Nick Wright is saying you're trying to find ways to entertain yourself, then there's absolutely no excuse for losing to the Suns team. And by the way, the other thing I recall from this season is Dennis Schroeder having a fantastic season. And well, anyway, that's another topic. And I did a video on that back when this season was underway.
He knows what his team needs, not to win Game 1 or Game 2 of the first round, but to win the championship. And you know what LeBron was doing through the first 10 quarters of this series? Trying to get his shooters in rhythm.
Oh my God.
Knowing, if need be, in the biggest spots, I still am the most unstoppable force in the league.
Oh my God. Baldhead Kid, I wish you would do a play-by-play the way that I used to do. And I will. But yeah.
He didn't just all of a sudden get healthy at halftime. At halftime, he's like, hey, we need to win this game. We've got 2 days of rest before the next one. Take control of the series. So I'll win it for us. And then I will go back to trying to get KCP and Kuzma and Wes Matthews in rhythm.
It's so frustrating.
The Lakers are going to win tonight. The Lakers aren't going to lose. This is very simple. Here's when series are at 3-2 Wilds, there's 3 questions you should ask yourself. And if the answer to all 3 is the same, then picking the series is very simple. And if there's some divergence, then you got to think on it. First question is, who's up in the series? Second question is, who is the home team in Game 6? And the third question is, who do you trust more in Game 7? So, who's up in the series? Phoenix. Who's at home in Game 6? The Lakers. Who do you trust more in Game 7? Well, that is obvious. The team with LeBron. And being down 3...
I have to stop it. Because history has shown us that you don't trust LeBron James. And yet here's Nick Wright lying to the world And this is why we have so many delusional LeBron fans, or at least it's part of why. And this is why I'm coming to realize it is possible for LeBron fans to wake up and turn a new leaf. They can now go back in history and realize that they were brainwashed. In fact, I think the first title of my channel was LeBrainwashed. Why aren't there consequences for sports analysts who are almost always wrong? I mean, it's what he does for a living, which tells you that that's not really what he does for a living. He promotes LeBron James for a living. He's not giving accurate sports takes. He can. I don't think Nick Wright is incapable of being accurate. He chooses not to be. Why would someone who's capable of being accurate choose not to be? Well, I already answered that. This is a LeBron James promotional show. Bottom line. And therefore, accuracy does not matter. Therefore, lying becomes very important.
Too wild historically is really, really bad for every team, except for teams with LeBron James on them.
That is not true. I mean, that is not true. So not only did LeBron James show us that disgusting flop against Chris Paul, but this was also when he walked off with what, four minutes remaining? Yeah, the heart of a champion. Eliminated in the first round. And I mean, Nick Wright chose them to win it all. Hold on. What am I seeing here? Okay. All right. It only takes a short period of losing. LeBron James, of course, has no patience, has no mental fortitude, has no desire to stick it out through the hard times. He either runs to another team or he dismantles his existing team. Which is, it's kind of the same thing. You either go to the other team or you bring an entire other team to you. I mean, Russell Westbrook, Carmelo Anthony, Dwight Howard, that's a pretty massive, that's a pretty massive overhaul. Great work. There is criticism about the roster. LeBron James tweets response. Of course, this must be the same energy response. Of course, LeBron has put out so many tweets and then deleted them. It's hard to keep track. Yep, there it is. Wow. This is even more aggressive than I remember. Look at the last lines. I mean, again, what did I say at the beginning of this video? People who pay no consequences for their shit talking. People who have no accountability. I mean, LeBron James should have been humiliated into silence, shunned by sports analysts, and put into a dungeon of shame for how wrong he was. You don't get to. I mean, this is arrogant trash talking. Do me one favor, please. All caps. 4 exclamation points. And I mean, please. Keep that same narrative energy when it begins. That's all I ask. Signs it with a crown. You fucking twat. You most insecure, childish 40-year-old that's ever existed. Speaking of, I just want to mention a couple of other tweets that I remember that took place during this losing streak, this multi-year period of failure. And one of them was talking about his wide shoulders carrying the team. And of course, then he did not do so. The off-season back and forth between him and Mike Malone, in which LeBron James called himself the Sun and did not back up his big talk the next season, getting eliminated in a gentleman's sweep instead of a regular sweep. Well done, LeBron.
LeBron knows he's accused.
Shame on you, Nick Wright. Now this again, I take it back to criticizing everyone, because Nick Wright should not have a job and LeBron James should have been shamed out of the league. LeBron James actually deletes a tweet that he wasn't just confident in, but was shockingly arrogant in. And what's Nick Wright going to do? He's going to defend him. And he's even going to delete. Nick Wright is even going to defend the fact that he deletes it. LeBron fires back again. LeBron fires back at who? I hate the way things are worded now, because the media people can't analyze rosters. People can't say, I wonder if this will work. Here are the pros and cons. Oh, how dare you? Oh, how dare you?
Acutely aware of how his career has been covered. And for people that don't remember it or know, well, here's what happened.
How does someone with a voice like Nick Wright have a job doing this? He has a face for radio and a voice that isn't fit for TV or radio.
Folks explain why a LeBron James team is flawed, can't get it done, won't win the title, and then when they do end up winning the title...
How many times is that, Nick?
They then say, well, of course they did. That was an unbeatable super team. I mean, he's...
So where is your humility for getting your predictions wrong?
Stack the deck. What did you expect? This has happened time and time again, which is why LeBron says keep the same narrative energy. It's happening again. People are going to get it both ways, Brandon. They're going to get to have their fun before the year starts, saying how bad the team will be. No.
Okay. First of all, there's no way everyone said the team would be bad. Some people might have said that. And guess what? The sports analysts probably had the same critiques of other rosters in the league. You put together a new roster, you dismantle a team, and you try to overhaul it. Why would there not be criticism? Why would there not be questions? You know, half of what Nick Wright is talking about is probably people just asking questions. How is this going to work? Will it work? Well, how dare they? You can't even ask things like that. And by the way, this should have worked. LeBron James's career is a history of putting together super teams. All of them should have worked because they were great rosters. I still to this day think that the hype about the team being old was overblown. I think that you put Michael Jordan on that team instead of LeBron James, and LeBron James's negative body energy and his blame, you have a different result.
Shooting, old, geriatric, and then if and when they win, they'll be like, well,
answer some of those
5
questions?
Hall of Famers.
Oh, here we have someone on the panel actually wants to answer some of these questions that Nick Wright is hoping is rhetorical, because these guys aren't accustomed to anyone actually challenging them.
LeBron, AD, Russ, Melo, Dwight, of course, most stacked team
It is stacked. No one called it the most stacked team ever, but it's a stacked team.
ever. So he's just asking you to pick a lane. Pick the lane.
He's just asking you. No, he's blatantly shit-talking in an arrogant manner.
Is this a great team that is supposed to win? Or is this a flawed, old, bad shooting team?
Are you kidding, Nick Wright? That is not what LeBron James tweeted. It's not even close.
That if they do win, will deserve massive credit for being the underdog story that they are. That's the question.
I like this guy. No wonder we haven't seen him again.
Bravo, Nick. Bravo.
Lakers suffer another surprising loss, this time to a depleted Memphis team. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to add my own little spice to this and go get that footage and throw it in here.
Alley up to Claxton, he throws it down.
Pass, the delivery, the finish, over the contest. That's good defense, but a spectacular job delivering it where only Claxton can catch. And what a finish.
Here's where Russ has not been fine. His defense has been a travesty. And it's not everybody likes to say defense is effort. No, it's not. It's part.
I don't even remember how many videos I made this season showing how bad LeBron's defense was and how many blunders, turnovers, and shots off the side of the backboard LeBron had while Russell Westbrook took 100% of the blame. Poor guy. I wasn't even a Westbrook fan, and you know, when people are just that unfair, I'll come to the rescue of people that I didn't dislike Russell Westbrook, but I had never like supported him on that level before. Just like now they've got me defending Luka Doncic because they've been, oh man.
Partially effort, but on this level, the highest level in the world.
Why are you nodding your head, Broussard? You fucking bitch.
It's attention to detail, it's focus, it's understanding you're one of five, like a shifting amoeba defensively.
Then why did LeBron James dismantle the roster for Russell Westbrook? I thought he was intelligent. I thought he had a basketball IQ. You should be able to foresee these problems. If in fact you're saying this is just who Russell Westbrook is. If this is who Russell Westbrook is, then don't fucking recruit him. If you're going to criticize him for being who he is, you either take the good with the bad because you know that's what's coming, or you don't make the move.
And you can't just freelance and go do your own thing. It will break.
Do your own thing is what Russell Westbrook does, and he's still doing it. We saw with the Denver Nuggets that the success that they did have with Russell Westbrook, and I believe Mike Malone even used these words, was you can't force him to be something else. And yes, Russell Westbrook blows. He gets to the rim in an amazing way and then sometimes blows it. And he makes mistakes. And he's still doing it. And he still did it this year with the Denver Nuggets. And yet he was an asset to the team. You take the good with the bad, or you don't take Russell Westbrook at all. So have some accountability for the decision to bring him in.
Your defense down like it did against the Nets on the Patty Mills 3. So his defense has been a disaster. His efficiency has been bad. And his decision-making that Antoine's talking about, late in games in particular, has been the worst I've ever seen from him.
from him, but not the worst you've ever seen. And there's a still frame of what Nick Wright does with LeBron James when he leaves the studio. LeBron James's late game decisions and his turnovers and his shooting were comical. I made numerous circus music videos to LeBron James this season. Here's just one that I did back when Skip and Shannon would take turns ripping on Westbrook and other people while actually describing LeBron James. This is just one of many videos I made.
If Joel Embiid or Giannis shoot 20, 28, you say, but hey, those are dunks and layups.
They do not guard him.
No.
They just say, if you want that, go ahead and shoot that.
Shoot it.
We just ignore you.
We just ignore you.
But as you know, Shannon, he's got no shame. He has no memory. He's like the great cornerback he can't remember getting burned. He'll just keep on shooting. There was one shot, I'm going to show you one that he missed. You see the corner three that he tried. Yeah. Did you see that? I mean, but that's vintage Westbrook.
If they were to officiate Draymond like they do every other NBA player, Draymond would have 100 texts.
He would, I agree.
All that yelling and screaming, no other player. And I think a lot of the officials say, man, that's just Draymond. And maybe the commissioner says, hey, some of that, just let it go. And the fact of the matter is the way he's talking and yelling and screaming at the official, and he only has 16 texts, he probably should have triple that.
He just stayed steady on that official and just stayed on him, and the official just kept waving him away. He just gets away with it.
Yelling and screaming at the official, he just gets away with it. All that yelling and screaming, no other player.
He was a freaking disaster.
So Broussard, I didn't expect Russ to all of a sudden magically become a good three-point shooter by joining the Lakers. We knew that was going to be a negative. But I think what a lot of people thought is, but because he's on what should be a good team, he'll pay more attention on defense. He'll be more cautious with the ball. He hasn't done that.
When in history has that been the case? I mean, we need to make a decision here. Has Russell Westbrook always been Russell Westbrook? Or has Russell Westbrook found ways to change and fit in the way that he needs to? Which one is it?
Those things. That's where this is a killer for the Lakers, Broussard.
I'm going to read this out loud in case anybody's enjoying just listening while they drive or whatever. April of 2022. With a 31-45 record, the Lakers are 11th in the Western Conference standings. Wait a minute, how did we get to 2022? To avoid missing the play-in, they face a must-win game in New Orleans.
Augustine, a great three-point shooter. Bradley and Davis. Here's Malik Monk. Can't play around with it. With 5. LeBron's got to fire it up. LeBron to tie the game. It's over. And
Jesus, he had so much time. He had so many looks. And a nice little reminder of the Lakers having Malik Monk, who of course wasn't good enough. Oh, man. It's just astonishing that LeBron gets to escape things that are historically embarrassing. He didn't just miss. He missed everything on a critical play. It's not like it rimmed in and out. Wow. I'll go ahead and read this. LeBron James's last-ditch three-pointer found nothing but air, and the Lakers' postseason hopes continued to vanish with Friday night's 114-111 loss to the New Orleans Pelicans. The big picture is that it pretty much was a must-win for us, and we didn't get the job done, said James. We didn't get the job done. As many people have pointed out, I'm not reading anymore. I'm talking. As many people have pointed out, when LeBron's team loses, it's we. When they win, it's me. And that's not bullshit. It happens too many times for you LeBron fans to claim that I'm lying. It happens all the time. We had great opportunities throughout the night, and we didn't make enough plays down the stretch. So that's the big picture. Wow. Could we have one case of you ever saying, I didn't get it done? Even if it was your teammate's fault. That's just what a leader's supposed to do. We didn't get it done. God, I got to watch that again really quick. Sorry, I went back too far.
Augustine, a great three-point shooter. Bradley and Davis. Here's Malik Monk. Can't play around with it. With 5. LeBron. LeBron's got to fire it up. LeBron to tie the game. It's over.
So, fanboys who say things as shockingly stupid as why should you need a go-to move? Well, there's one example of an answer. By the way, I think both of those guys closing out on LeBron were shorter than him. And Skip Disgusting Bayless, who is supposedly a LeBron hater, claims that LeBron is the greater driver of the basket he's ever seen. Well, maybe you should have driven to the basket after one of those pump fakes.
And New Orleans has come in and taken it from the Lakers.
LeBron James makes a layup, just a wide open layup with 6:51 left in the fourth quarter. Guess what, ladies and gentlemen? It was the only 2 points he scored in the whole fourth quarter.
I remember this period of time in which Skip would play both sides. He would compliment the hell out of LeBron, and then he would also criticize LeBron. But let's be clear. The criticism of LeBron was Skip Bayless literally telling you what happened in the game. And he's a hater for that. That's what we all get called. We get called haters for accurately reporting what happened. And Skip Bayless would constantly, I guess to appease Shannon Sharpe, give LeBron James compliments. And anytime Skip Bayless was making good points, Shannon Sharpe would start yelling over the top of him. Like he would literally bully Skip Bayless into silence.
Obviously, it's not a great basketball team, but it's way better than 16 games under 500.
Are they?
And I'll take 16 of those games.
The only points he had was that layup. Guys, that sounds like this year's playoffs, doesn't it? How many years, how many examples of LeBron James being worthless in the fourth period do you have to see? Apparently 22 years worth.
If we had a 5-hour show, I promise you I could go back and find you 16 times in this season in which your man could not close. This is
okay. And I believe you, Skip, because I've done it myself. You get paid to do this, so I hope you can find it more times than I do. Again, what did I just finish saying? LeBron James has a history of not being able to get it done and then saying we didn't get it done.
is the classic case of this is the game of the year. This is the one you have to win to stay afloat. He is
Pump fake, drive, but no.
heavily guarded.
Shorter defender on him. Rise up and hit the three.
At the end of the game, but he has a 3 to wipe the slate.
That actually ended up being a good look.
Clean and at least get them to
Amazing.
overtime, make one big clutch shot, and he maneuvered. I think I give him high marks for the maneuver.
Oh my God. Yep, here we go.
Because he actually finally got a little opening there. We had a decent look at it, and he airballed it.
Nothing that Skip just said is untrue. I should have my face on screen, but maybe I'll spare everybody. Fanboys, you really need to understand the difference between hating and criticizing inaccurate reporting. Nothing was inaccurate about what was just said there. Nothing. And if you don't want sports analysts to accurately critique a game, then we're not talking about sports analysts anymore. We're talking about reality television and La Media, the relentless promotion of LeBron James and forgiving him for his never-ending shortcomings. Wow, we got a long way to go. April 2022, the Lakers finished the season 11th place in the West and missed the play-in. I mean, people, Adam Silver created the play-in when he saw LeBron's struggles, and it still wasn't enough. I'm sorry, you really need to digest that. Couldn't even make the play-in.
I foolishly had this little bit of hope that,
Do you think he's going to criticize LeBron James? No, there's no way.
maybe Anthony Davis.
Oh, man. Oh, LeBron fans. And anyone who was raised by people crappy enough for you to develop a LeBron James fan type of mentality where nothing is ever your fault, no accountability, blame other people. You have been mentored by the scumbaggery of the Nick Wrights of the world. Nick Wright is partially responsible for the generations of kids raised by YouTube and television. When this is their role model, when this is, their parents aren't around, you're raised by TV and YouTube, and this is the piece of trash telling you what's acceptable. Blame others. No wonder society is in shambles. LeBron James is doing it, and the sports media is doing it. Combined, there's really no hope in expecting youth to turn out well, unless, in fact, parents are there actively in the children's lives, explaining to them what accountability actually is.
Can just throw the team on his back. Threw 3 times all year.
Why would Anthony Davis have to throw the team on his back when you're constantly going to say that LeBron James is the best player?
Had a game score of 30. Embiid's done it close to 30. Like, it was 0 times all year he had a game score of over 35. I don't know what's happened, but I do know this. It's not just...
I'm not prepared to look at what Embiid did that season compared to Anthony Davis, but I do know that Embiid received an MVP that he didn't deserve. I know that Anthony Davis was shunned from even MVP discussions thanks to being on LeBron's team, where your role is to be blamed rather than lifted up. But here's Nick Wright turning around and I guess wanting Anthony Davis to be better than Joel Embiid, which I would argue he is. I would argue he is definitely better than Embiid. But Embiid, again, is the one who was being praised as an MVP candidate all these seasons, while Anthony Davis was being scapegoated, and yet somehow Nick Wright thinks that the non-MVP candidate should be better than the MVP candidate.
Just injuries. It's not like, well, when Anthony Davis was out there, they were awesome. He played 40 games.
That's right.
And last night was another one. It's like, okay, he was fine. So that's kind of the...
He was fine. That probably means he was fantastic. Why? Why is he shooting 3-pointers? Who's the leader of that team? I'm digging in deeper to this Nick Wright segment because it just seemed suspicious to me. And the first thing I checked was whether or not Anthony Davis played 40 games, because it was 40 games. So it's interesting that in a 40-game season, you're going to talk about, he didn't have that many 30-plus point games. Does anyone else think that that's a little bit skewed? To take a season where someone only played 40 games and say, hey, you didn't have that many big scoring games that season? Guess what, Nick? He had fewer of every type of game that season. Now, if he was an ethical sports analyst, he would have included the fact that Anthony Davis was ranked 44th in total shot attempts outside of 10 feet. That means that the chances of him having a high 3-point percentage were quite low. But maybe the most important part is that he flat out lies about Anthony Davis's 3-point percentage. I went to StatMuse. Anthony Davis isn't even listed in the top 25 of worst 3-point shooters for the season. So how could he have been the worst? And then he talks about when he was healthy. Well, does this mean that Nick Wright was allowed to choose which games he considers Anthony Davis healthy and then cherry-picked those in order to come up with his stat of 18%? I'm not finding the evidence to back this up. This is supposedly after the 21-22 season, right? According to the timeline of this video. So if that is in fact true, Nick Wright is lying. Why are sports analysts allowed to keep their jobs when they're not just inaccurate, but false? Now, allow me to demonstrate more integrity than Nick Wright by going a step further. Maybe we weren't talking about 21-22. Maybe we were talking about 2021. And that was indeed a worse 3-point shooting year for Anthony Davis, but he was still not the worst. He was number 5, and it wasn't 18%. It was 25%. Again, inaccurate. And fanboys are going to be like, oh, that's not very good. Well, is Nick Wright a professional sports analyst? And did he just lie? So much blame. I mean, do you LeBron fans just not ever get tired of blame? Westbrook is to blame. The old players are to blame. Anthony Davis is to blame. Schroeder is to blame. Frank Vogel is to blame. Darvin Ham is going to be to blame. And then you turn around as LeBron James constantly dismantles and reassembles teams. You turn around and complain that they don't have cohesion or chemistry. You got a lot of nerve.
I like the hire. We talked about Darvin Ham, and you look around the league.
Great work, because I didn't even know about. I didn't remember this tweet.
Ime Udoka.
Really, I thought Ty Lue was also in the blame game. LeBron fans say all the time that it was unfair for Michael Jordan to have a great coach. And LeBron didn't have that advantage. Really? Actually, LeBron just shit on his great coaches while Jordan was coachable and respectful. Wow. I like this timeline graphic. Did everybody catch that? Not even a yellow in 21-22 season timeline. Not even a first round.
I like the Lakers tonight. I like the Lakers in the series.
I couldn't find the pause button in time, but you knew he was going to give LeBron James the credit for why they would win ahead of the game. He's not going to blame LeBron James afterwards. And these 2 seasons going up against the Nuggets were some of the most blatant examples in which we have play-by-play evidence that LeBron James was in fact the reason that the Lakers lost. Thank you, LeBron James, for gifting us. Which, by the way, means and only means finding someone extremely smaller than him. That's all that means. Let's be clear, there's different kinds of mismatches. There can be guys that are the same size as you or bigger than you, and it's still a mismatch. Look how many times Curry takes big guys to the hole. LeBron James only takes people smaller than him to the hole, and he doesn't even do it with skill. He does it by slamming into them, ass and back to the basket, or at best sideways, ramming them with his shoulder and shoving them to the ground illegally with his arms with no call. And that's what Nick Wright is referring to as seeking out.
Where the Nuggets kill you is the Jokic-Murray pick and roll. And there is not a single player in the league better suited to be able to recover off that action than Anthony Davis.
Finally, a little credit for Anthony Davis's defense, cleaning up LeBron's mess. Of course, Nick Wright didn't include that part.
And so I think that if...
And I remember Anthony Davis getting thrown under the bus in this, and I just kept asking people, how do you think the series would have gone without Anthony Davis? Because Anthony Davis tried really hard and played really well. And I'm sorry, it wasn't enough.
You're the Nuggets. That is the one guy you didn't want to see Jokic have to deal with, not because he can hold him to 15, but because he can hold him to 27, 8, and 6 instead of 34.
Full game or first half.
Yeah, full game. And then you have LeBron to deal with.
Okay.
Well, I've had the Nuggets all year.
Well, I don't know. I've just been right all year.
Let's read this. Nuggets guard Contavious Caldwell-Pope. Thank you for pointing this out, which I have many times. Yet another example of someone who wasn't good enough for LeBron finding success on the next team he goes to. Playing for the Los Angeles Lakers the last time these teams met in the Western Conference Finals in the 2020 NBA bubble. So what similarities does he see between LeBron James and Nikola Jokic? I feel like the only difference is Bron can jump higher than Jokic.
I went into this series cautiously very optimistic. The reasons for my
How can you be cautiously very optimistic? Does that even make sense?
optimism were, thought the Lakers would be able to score at will on this team, and that this was a very, very bad matchup for the Nuggets.
Look at the stat line at the bottom there. I'm a little bit amazed that this show, First Things First, even included Anthony Davis's fantastic stat line. Now, what you don't see with that stat line, which by the way says 40 points and 10 rebounds, is that not only did he get the 40 points and 10 rebounds, he had the burden of guarding Jokic. Now, LeBron fans say some pretty crazy things, and amongst them is that LeBron can guard Jokic or guard any 5 position, which is just stupid and delusional. The position that I see LeBron James guard the most is the 0 position.
After watching game 1, my caution is gone and my optimism is boundless. Boundless.
Wow.
I give the Nuggets, most notably Joker, massive credit. I give that crowd credit. I give Mike Malone credit for getting that victory and hanging on for dear life at the end, because that would have been a crushing that would have been a series ender if they had lost in that fashion. Not if they had lost game one, but if they had blown a 21-point lead at home. Let me
look at the score. I want people to remember that these games were not blowouts. A lot of people think that the Nuggets were infinitely better. They were not. LeBron James simply lost close games for the Lakers.
Let me show you how LeBron and AD scored. Hubs, if we can pull it up, we can do AD first, then LeBron. How they scored. If it was a flurry of jump shots, then I'd be a little more concerned. It was not. It was things that are going to be accessible to them. How did LeBron score? The exact way going into the game I thought he would. Find Jamal Murray.
Look at LeBron. 2 made shots outside of the paint. Anthony Davis has a better jump shot than LeBron James.
Get him in a pick and roll and go. What I saw from the Lakers yesterday offensively confirmed my pre-series.
I'm sorry. How do people think that affects Anthony Davis? That LeBron James needs to be in the paint too? In order for LeBron James to score, LeBron James needs to get in the paint. And yet you have one of the best finishers in the paint in Anthony Davis. That sounds like you're detracting from Anthony Davis to me.
Suspicions that the Nuggets can offer no resistance. I don't know, and maybe I'm wrong, and we'll get 2 weeks to see it play out.
So Jokic had 34 points, less than Anthony Davis. Are we going to give Anthony Davis credit for that? Jesus, look at Jokic's stat line. 34 on 12 of 17, 21 rebounds, 14 assists. Wow.
Adjustment the Nuggets can make to be better defensively. That's the thing. That's why I'm as confident as I am. Is I don't think they have the personnel to slow down LeBron and Anthony Davis offensively.
Remind me to go check the box scores. I'll add that to this. Just see how bad the rest of the Lakers were, supposedly, since Nick Wright is only willing to mention Anthony Davis and LeBron James. Okay, so for the record, Anthony Davis was 11 of 18. 61% from the field, didn't take any threes, 6 of 8 for free throws, 18 rebounds, 28 points. Wow. 2 blocks. 2 blocks. Only 1 turnover in that stat line. Wow. Let's look at Austin Reeves, who had 23 points. 7 of 10, 70% shooting, 3 of 5 from 3, 7 rebounds, 5 assists. Yeah. Not too shabby either, huh? Schroeder shot 40%, Hachimura shot 41%, Lonnie Walker shot 40%.
Listen, I was wrong, America. Now, was I wrong about the series? We'll find.
Oh, boy. Wrong, but not actually wrong. I'm wrong because it's someone else's fault. Oh, look, Jamal Murray had a good game.
Find out tonight or Wednesday or at some point if and when the Nuggets win the 4th game. I am not putting this at the doorstep of Darvin Ham. This is a compliment to the Nuggets.
When you say something like that, that means that you are. You just put it in everyone's mind. It's the same thing as no disrespect, but all due respect. I love the guy, but yeah, we all know what's coming.
Head coach, not an indictment on the Lakers head coach. The Nuggets instantly recognized, oh, the D'Angelo Russell situation is a disaster for the Lakers.
Oh, wow. So again, like I said, Nick Wright is finding a way to blame someone else for him being wrong. He's just like LeBron James, right? It's always someone else's fault.
And I think manipulated like the Lakers into leaning into it.
Who manipulated the Lakers?
I do not think it was coincidental that immediately after game one, Mike Malone's like, that's an interesting storyline. Are they going to play him or not? And Bruce Brown talked about it, almost daring the Lakers keep him on the court, knowing that D'Angelo's a guy that can get temperamental, that up and down, and also knowing, and we can show it to you quickly, that when D'Angelo's on the court, the Lakers are annihilated. And in the 65 minutes he's off the court, they have won resoundingly.
So I'll just let everybody know, looking at game 4, I see that D'Lo played only 15 minutes, only took 4 shots, made 2 of them, so 50% shooting. And, you know, they're just ripping on D'Lo, and I did a video about D'Lo back when they were scapegoating him. D'Lo's best games as a Laker were when LeBron was out, and that tends to be true of most people on the Lakers. They have their best games when LeBron fakes an injury. But look at some of D'Lo's highest scoring games. This guy has had a 52-point game in his career, but sucks. He scored 44 for the Lakers in a win over the Bucks when LeBron was sitting out. And all you suffer as a LeBron James teammate is being torn down all the time, your confidence being shattered, and still being expected to come out and deliver. And if you don't carry the team, you will be trashed. And if you do carry the team, you won't get any credit. It's just got to be a miserable, miserable feeling.
Not 3-0. If the Lakers win tonight, game 5 becomes a little screw tightening for Denver. Because they then know game 6, we got to go back.
Why does this say any belief LeBron can win this series? LeBron has, according to the box score, the only person you should be asking that of is whether Anthony Davis can win the series. LeBron's name does not deserve to appear on the screen. Unless you want to change the title to any belief LeBron cannot blow the series.
To Los Angeles. And it's for you.
Did Jokic really say that? I'm worried because they have LeBron. I'm finding that hard to believe, but in this kiss-ass new era, it's possible, sadly.
The stat everyone talks about is 0 and everything, 149. What I think is even more noteworthy is that only 3 teams, Brew and I were talking about this before the show, have even forced a game 7. So 146 of the 149 have won in either games 4, 5, or 6. I think.
Look at the numbers they come up with that his production team feeds him. Like, if you're coming up with these sorts of obscure details, then you're certainly also capable of looking at LeBron's failures.
It'll be interesting. They win tonight. I think tomorrow's show's interesting. I think
what is your answer?
Any belief? My answer is yes. I'm like.
What a coward. What a cowardly question. Any belief at all? Wow, how brave.
I'm like Nikola Jokic. Blame me. I'm just like Nikola Jokic. Nice. You know what? Because they have LeBron, okay. I think it's on the board. Okay. It's on the board. Another thing on the board.
Like Jokic, blame me. Yeah, notice you can't say LeBron, blame me.
Board?
Shameful. Just shameful. LeBron is so embarrassing. Go ahead and blame his teammates if you want to. His legacy is just filled with not just defeats, but defeats on an embarrassing level.
The question is D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell has, in my opinion, real regular season value for a team that might want to load manage people. He has no postseason value unless he, at 28 years old, decides You know what? I'm the former number 2 pick of a draft. I bounce around the league because I'm not a playoff player because I can't defend. Do I want...
You know how easy it would be for me to put LeBron's name in, replacing D'Angelo Russell. Like, LeBron is worse in the playoffs than he is in the regular season. LeBron doesn't get it done in the fourth, and he can't defend. But let's focus on D'Angelo Russell. If I were to focus on the one game that the Lakers won against the Nuggets in 2024, we would look at D'Angelo Russell having 21 points, 53% from overall, and 50% from three. LeBron James had 30 points and actually had a 60% shooting percentage from the field, which is pretty darn good, but he was 0%, 0 for 2 from 3. Now, if we look at the shot chart, it puts things into perspective. If LeBron James isn't bullying a mismatch of size in the paint, then what's he doing for you? How is Anthony Davis supposed to get his when this is where LeBron James has to live in order to score? This is D'Lo's shot chart by comparison, and he had some nifty drives that got him close to the rim, but for the most part, he was not trying to use up that space. Now, what position is LeBron James playing? Is he your power forward? Is he your small forward? Are you saying he's the center? Are you saying he's the point guard? Bottom line is that LeBron's success is only in the paint and only when he's against a smaller player and only when the refs are on his side. I'm going to read the rest of the box score here because LeBron James, as a Laker, the majority of the time that he is the leading scorer, it means a loss for the Lakers. This is a rare case in which he had 30 points and they won. But I'm going to read off the box score. Let's look at since I have the percentages on the screen. Rui shot 50%. AD shot 64.7%. Reeves shot 46.7%. D'Lo shot 53.3%. Taurean Prince shot 42.9%. Spencer Dinwiddie only took one shot, and Gabe Vincent went 1 for 4. So I just want you to keep those performances, those percentages, and let's go look how the point totals are compared to the shooting percentage. So we have 9, we have 30, we have 25, we have 21, we have 21, we have 9, and then the people with the lowest shooting percentages also had the lowest shot attempts, giving you 1 and 3. Now, fanboys, I invite you to look through Jordan's career and see how often the supporting cast put up numbers like this at the shooting percentage that they did. And I know what you're going to do. You're going to be like, oh, well, everything sucked back then. There was no competition. It was okay for Jordan to do it by himself. I mean, whatever you need to run to. It's not true. And the bottom line is that Jordan just didn't have this sort of help. And yet here we are in a time where LeBron is heralded as the GOAT, heralded as still one of the best players in the league. And yet his teammates are expected to carry the load. And when they do carry the load, they still don't get credit. By the way, since Nick Wright made such a big deal out of saying Anthony Davis only played 40 games, may I remind everyone that the season prior, LeBron James played only 45 games. And in 21-22, he only played 56 games. That's an improvement over 45. I'm not sure it's something to be proud of, though.
To dedicate myself on that front.
Woohoo! Good job, Darvinham. Better than JJ. taking us back to the opening game of the season.
So Nick, it's game 1. Denver has won 5 in a row.
I know Wilds is on this show, but I kind of like him.
Must win.
Oh, God.
This is your way of getting this segment back in? I mean, we killed it for football.
If you don't win tonight,
what?
They're getting their rings. All they did was talk trash. The announcer said, we made you LeBron's daddy or something like that.
Yeah.
This is a must-win game for the Lakers.
You know what?
Can't lose 6 in a row and then be like, we can beat them in the playoffs. No, you can't.
It's not that it was 4-0. It's like it was 13 possession. The point I am trying to make is
Did you see Brassard's face?
think there is an element with the Lakers that does not feel like the Nuggets are head and shoulders better than them, even though they lost 4-0.
Well, guess what? They aren't. They aren't. The Nuggets are not head and shoulders better. Most people believe that they are because network television craps on the Lakers roster, except for LeBron James, all year. And then LeBron James is the one who ends up blowing the games at the end in close games. I'm enjoying this little trip down recent memory lane. If I recall, Darvin Ham said, "Yeah, we're not ducking the smoke. We want them in the first round." That's the right attitude to have. And again, went further than JJ.
Is one of these teams dealing with a massive distraction?
That might lock them in.
Is one of these teams dealing with, one of the biggest scandals in modern NBA history, touching a family member of a key player?
My God, Nick, right?
It crossed
Dusty,
my mind.
the envelope.
It crossed my mind.
I mean, it's not nothing. Wilds, I'm going to trust you to read this to the audience, as you will see it is wax sealed on the back.
Wow.
Monogrammed. If you would, please.
Not monogram.
Really? Look at the wax seal on the back. Tell me
think
if that's a wax
he
seal
goes
monogram.
through all
That
this
does
to
look
pick
nice.
the Nuggets. I'll tell you that.
You want me to read this part?
Is this-
What
do
does it
not
say?
open. Okay, it's confidential.
Do not open until
And it
three.
is really wax sealed.
Wax sealed.
You have a wax sealer?
Wow.
For events. It's like this.
Okay.
It's like the NBA draft.
It is like the NBA draft.
Except not rigged.
I'm stunned.
With the first pick, the first redo pick, since we all put our official picks in a week ago, Nick Wright has selected
Wow.
the Los
in
Angeles
six,
Lakers.
not even 7.
In six.
I guess they got
with
to
two
win at home.
exclamation.
Again, are there any consequences for your job having a lot to do with you being able to pick things correctly and you not picking things correctly?
You're exactly right. Lakers in 6. I just think that.
Here's the thing. Nick would get these correct if he would be honest about LeBron James. If he would take the evidence that people like me have provided and be honest while looking at it, he would not pick the Lakers.
If every game last year was in the balance in the fourth quarter, and LeBron played poorly in all 4 fourth quarters, which I think because it's round 1 is not going to happen with the rest between games.
Wait. Did he admit that LeBron played, or is he talking about a hypothetical, or is he admitting that LeBron played poorly?
Last year was in the balance in the fourth quarter, and LeBron played poorly in all 4 fourth quarters, which I think because it's round 1 is not going to happen with the rest between games. And D'Lo, if D'Lo is 6
worn out
points
last
on
night
third,
in the fourth quarter.
Right? And again, that was every other day for the last few weeks that they've been playing. We'll see.
Oh, the excuses for LeBron are just relentless. And it's bad as it is, but weren't we suffering through the Iron Man and defeating Father Time shit? And hearing that he's the best conditioned guy? That's what we heard this year. We heard that he was the best conditioned guy in the league. Last year, he was beating Father Time. And yet here, it's the first round, so maybe we can expect more from LeBron. He'll probably be tired in the later rounds. That's actually what Nick Wright just admitted. Oh, well, as the playoffs go on, we can't depend on LeBron. Well, then he shouldn't play, should he? Again, you don't get bonus points because you put a 40-year-old on the floor. You don't get to provide an excuse later on and change the result of the game. Is he the right person to be on the floor or not?
We'll just see.
He hasn't won in Denver in over 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Wilds.
He hasn't won. LeBron James has not won one game in Denver.
I think that means he's
0-6
0-6 or something. Like it's.
I don't think 4 years. It's a long time ago.
Okay. It means he's due.
It's not.
It means he's due.
No, it does not mean he's due.
Okay.
It means it's just going to keep on happening.
Okay, so
another
I could see why maybe
Wilds should be running the show. He's getting more correct than Nick Wright.
So another
I could see why maybe one game.
Okay, but then that means a lot of your analysis has to shift dramatically if the Lakers win one of the first two.
Is this series already over?
Well, that's an on its face ridiculous question.
True. It's only one game.
No, the series is not over. And in fact, even if the Lakers lose tonight, this series hasn't even started yet, according to some of the wisest minds ever. The part of this game that was most disconcerting to me was Austin Reeves seeming
scared.
Yeah. Which Austin Reeves was actually good in the conference finals.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, another scapegoat. Another scapegoat. Boy, we have a long list of them already, don't we?
And he was obviously good in that playoff run. It didn't seem
he
like
was scared?
He just played so tentative. Austin Reeves needs to take some of D'Lo's confidence. So D'Lo has less and Austin has more.
It's 100.
Okay, so these guys are talking after the Game 1 loss, and they're specifically criticizing Austin Reeves. Look at Austin Reeves' box score in Game 1. He was 5 of 9, 55.6% shooting. I guess they wanted him to take more shots, but I got to tell you, watching Austin Reeves, however you feel about him, being scared is not something I ever thought. He seems quite comfortable taking those clutch moment shots, much more confident than LeBron.
So Austin just at times seemed like he wasn't even looking at the basket. Like he'd get the ball and almost, a circular dribble away.
Oh, fantastic. Thank you for the detailed breakdown. All right, fourth quarter, Game 2, April 22nd, 19.5 seconds left. Tie game, Lakers possession.
12 here in the fourth. Defender falls. LeBron 3. Rebound by Porter. Denver with the timeout. We are tied.
I love it. Don't call it. Tie.
I mean, who can forget that shot? Shall we watch that again? Also, look at D'Lo. Look at LeBron's arm. Still in the position by which the arm threw the defender to the ground.
12 here in the fourth.
Look at D'Lo. He's like, oh, yeah, what do I do here to not get blamed?
Defender falls. LeBron 3. Rebound
My God.
by Porter. Denver with the timeout. We are tied.
I love it. Don't call it. Tie.
Weren't they trying to praise LeBron James's shooting this season also? Yeah. I mean, in a lot of ways, that makes this even worse. Because if he's been shooting well and suddenly crinkles up when it matters, it just proves the rest of our points to be that much more true.
Ball game, worst can happen. We go to overtime.
Murray makes a move. The Nuggets have won!
Poor Anthony Davis. I mean, you know LeBron James couldn't have done anything about it. LeBron James wouldn't have even been that close. What's AD have, a 7'6" wingspan?
Nick, are you ready to admit this series is over?
Oh, man.
I mean, that's... How can something end before it's even begun?
That's a fair
point.
You know it's over.
They haven't started yet.
It hasn't even started.
Yeah, all right.
In fact, as it happens, these NBA playoffs haven't started. I don't know what it means for the ratings, but
Not good.
we're now 11-0 for home teams. So none of these
We're in the
series are yet to start.
Right? What the heck is going on?
Wilds, what was my pre-series prediction? You know it because you held it up and I tweeted it.
You said Lakers in 6.
Okay. So what does that? I know you're not quite as good at math as I am, but what does that mean?
So you're going to have to win 4.
No, but what does it? What does it mean? The series
No,
is?
the next 4.
We'd have to win 4 straight for the series to be exact.
Okay,
but what
sure.
was my prediction? Lakers win 4 games, and the Nuggets win how many?
Wow.
2.
Wow.
2, exactly. So I'm halfway there.
Wow, Nick Wright.
So the idea that it would be over, no, listen. I don't look at, and I'm going to bring up the number I brought up earlier as well. People are going to say, oh, you lost the game, D'Lo was red hot. That's true. But what's also true is Rui and Austin Reeves were awful. And there were
They all 5 got to play terrifically
because
for them to win a game?
No, because
That's as close as pushback as you'll get from Broussard, which is pretty sad. Really sad. All right, so here's another moment in which I need to pull up the box score and look at the supporting cast. Okay, we're looking at Game 2. Reeves and Hachimura were not very good, but to Broussard's point, you know, you got 2 superstars in Anthony Davis and LeBron James. That should be enough for most teams. And you actually had some great contributions from other players. But let's look at Anthony Davis first. 32 points on 73.7% shooting and 11 rebounds. And this is going against the Joker? How dare people complain? And of course they don't mention D'Angelo Russell because he shot 8 of 16, 50%. 7 for 11 from 3. 63% from 3. 23 points. So you got 15 more points from Austin Reeves and Taurean Prince. And to crap on Austin Reeves for shooting 36.4%, that's not great. But how many times in LeBron's tenure as a Laker he's shot that percentage? The comparison of LeBron to Michael Jordan is manufactured. But since it happens, I invite you to go and see how many times Michael Jordan had the type of contributions from his supporting cast that LeBron James has gotten. Take LeBron James's cast on their worst nights and then compare.
my point is, with D'Lo, Rui, and Austin Reeves going 13 of 34 from the field.
You see what he did there? D'Lo had a great night, so he lumps D'Lo's stats in with people who had a bad night. So now D'Lo's part of the problem, even when he had a good night.
And with the bench scoring 6 total points, it's right there. So no, I don't think the series is over. Do I think the Lakers are in bad shape? Obviously. Does Game 3 become a no-question must-win? Obviously. Do I think it's over? No.
The Lakers led by 20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and they...
What do you mean, yeah? What do you mean, yeah? Don't act like that was the next thing you were going to say.
Still lost.
Yeah.
It's over, Nick. They have now lost in just about every way imaginable.
Right.
So
Ow.
They've gotten rid of. They got rid of all of it. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
I love this band.
Okay, here we go again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and now 11 straight wins.
Wow.
It's not even that many crack commandments. The bit doesn't even work. Denver went into LA and dispatched of the Lakers, who by the second half were phoning it in literally. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. What's that? Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky.
Wheels about to fall off. Is that right?
Tin Man mode.
Oh, no heart?
No heart.
From who?
Need some oil. Squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. Told you, Tin Man mode.
Bro,
Oh, LeBron. Did you notice LeBron's comments at the bottom of each of these? The previous one is there's not room for error. Well, then they shouldn't have given you the ball at the end of the game. This one, as long as you still have life, you obviously have belief. Wow. What are we even supposed to take from that?
you were obviously right about this series. I was obviously wrong. I had Lakers in 6. Now the best they can do is in 7. Hey, Wilds, I got a question for you.
Back and watch it.
I got a question for you.
Go ahead.
What's your confidence level, buddy?
My confidence level's at 97.5.
That is not where it was when I
97.5.
walked in this morning. And what is the
96.5?
No, you're nervous about Jamal Murray.
Okay, here's.
I got a little bit nervous.
Here's Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray grabbed his calf.
Was he writhing?
He wasn't writhing. No, I didn't pull the video.
Now, not because of Jamal Murray, because I was absolutely outraged with Jamal Murray at this point. I was like, please don't play. I was like, good, don't play. I literally said out loud, good, don't play. Because he was stinking it up. I know he had some game winners. With the exception of the game winners, I just thought he was pretty bad. What I was nervous about was the narrative.
Because I didn't want him to have to see it.
If the Lakers win tonight, do you think we're getting a Game 7?
They're doing 3 in a row.
No, that is not the question. The question is if they win tonight.
It's hard for me to answer that because everything to me is Jamal Murray.
That's right.
If Jamal Murray is out or severely hindered, but especially out, I think the Lakers actually have a very good chance of winning this series. Denver is not the
so interesting.
same. No, like Jamal Murray is critical to this team.
And if they don't win tonight, they have real problems. The last time they played, was it as close of a game as could possibly exist?
Is that
in the
what we're
NBA?
counting now? Okay, good.
No.
The Super Bowl is close too.
No,
Let's run that back, and I guess put Brock Purdy in the Hall of Fame.
And you know what?
That went to overtime.
Wild, you're getting so mad, buddy.
I'm not getting mad. I'm just
Good job, Wilds.
You're talking about Niners.
This is my correct voice.
Nuggets.
This is my.
Let's talk Lakers.
Are we surprised KC are not the faves to three-peat? It was super close.
Yes.
Who cares if it was close?
Okay, but you said you can't conceive. It's impossible.
Denver's going to win tonight.
Okay.
Jamal Murray is probably going to play. If he doesn't play, of course, there's a reason to be slightly concerned.
Okay.
Again, Wilds is correct more often than Nick.
Plenty of teams down 3-0 have won a Game 5. Plenty. So if you're saying it's at 0%.
I'm saying it's historically it's at 0%.
To win tonight, it's not, buddy.
Is the series at 0% if it's never happened before? If I'm saying that no one's ever seen a unicorn, you're like, I don't know. I've seen a lot of horses and I've seen a lot of goats. And I can see those things happening.
Okay,
but if you've never seen, it's never happened in the history of the league.
But that's why.
Wilds has got to have his own show because I enjoy him, but I don't listen to him because I can't watch Nick Wright's show.
I've been very careful not to say the Lakers are winning the series.
All I've said I don't like you. I don't like you anymore. The show's ruined.
Wait, what the?
Hey, I could see those things
Listen
happening.
to Nick Wright.
But if you've never seen, it's never happened in the history of the league.
But that's why I've been very careful not to say the Lakers are winning the series. All I've said
is Nick. Please tell me Nick is laughing at himself and knows that that's not true.
I don't like you. I don't like you anymore. The show's ruined.
Win tonight. I said if they win tonight, we're getting to Game 7.
I don't like
you are trying to
You're
talk
the
about
worst.
the overtime
You're the
in the
worst
Super
guy.
Bowl.
You're the worst guy. Live from New York. It's
Bald head kid. Well done. I'm enjoying this. I'm ruining it because I'm doing all this side work, adding my own supplemental information. But if I were to just sit back and watch this, wow, very, very enjoyable. I kind of took away the thunder by saying other things, but obviously the most important thing here is that once again, we're looking at another scapegoat. And I made a series last summer talking about what LeBron has cost the Lakers, and they were paying Vogel and Ham, who weren't coaching at the same time. And if they were to treat JJ Redick the same way, JJ Redick would be gone too, but that's not going to happen. And they would be paying 3 coaches at the same time who aren't coaching for them because of the multi-year guaranteed contracts.
Oh, so I'm just not going to feel badly for him. I don't think he did.
Do we ever see leadership from LeBron James in which he tells the team, hey, shape up. This is our coach. Respect him. Let's do our part. Let's man up. I mean, LeBron James is the guy who leads the mutiny. How can you expect success in that way? LeBron James would have led a mutiny against Phil Jackson. You disgusting LeBron fans that express your jealousy at not having had a Phil Jackson. You wouldn't have had a Phil Jackson either because LeBron James would have ruined it.
A great.
I heard Darvin Ham take the blame way more often than I heard LeBron James take the blame. And again, the empowerment was not there. LeBron James undermined him left and right. LeBron James did not undermine JJ Redick. We saw JJ Redick and LeBron James completely contradict each other, and yet in the post game, LeBron James would say, whatever JJ said is correct, no matter what. We heard the media with more specific critiques of JJ's decision-making in the playoffs than we ever heard about Darvin Ham. And yet, LeBron James had JJ's back. A lot of people say that Darvin Ham didn't do a good job, but they have to kind of like guess. It's a little bit general because, coaching is taking place behind the scenes. Most of us, as much as we want to pretend that we understand the coaching process, don't really know what is happening. But in JJ's case, we had a few examples in which we definitely knew what was happening, such as not rotating the roster at all. I mean, that one is pretty hard to deny. And while the media, interestingly enough, and it didn't last long, by the way, the JJ Redick heat was very brief before turning all attention to Luka. But in that brief period of time that JJ was getting criticism, LeBron was defending JJ. More support for JJ than any coach in LeBron's history.
The Lakers had beaten the Nuggets. I wouldn't have think that, Darvin Ham's a great coach. Now, maybe he would have done something in the series that changed my mind, but it would have been hard for me to believe it. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
And this is what needs to be on the screen every time Stephen A. Smith and those guys say LeBron has done so much for LA.
OKC, it's not just that they're young, it's that they're a weird defensive team because they're not that big. Now, Hartenstein's obviously huge for them, and Chet's big, but they're, aside from Hartenstein, none of their bigs are big as far as like is muscular, and their great perimeter defenders are all 6'5" or shorter. Like,
Lakers have the 6th best odds to win the title. Now, who are the people that are coming up with these odds? I mean, this is based on something, obviously. And yet, afterwards, all we hear is what an incredible disadvantage that the Lakers had. It does not add up.
Dort's a great perimeter defender. He's 6'4". The Lakers, on the other hand, they don't have a big, but they're a huge team. Meaning, like,
Did he just admit that the Lakers are a huge team? Because I wasted a lot of time at the end of this season debunking all the excuses being made that the Lakers were small and didn't have depth. Jeez, all I needed was this clip from Nick Wright, who I'm sure forgot that he even said this. Because, I mean, how many times did we hear about the lack of depth and size?
like, their playoff rotation, aside from Austin, everyone's 6'7", 6'8". And so they...
Thank you, Nick.
So I think that they are a brutal matchup for everyone in the West. I think...
Wow. Wow, this is a golden nugget for me to be... Well, it's too late. I should have been using it in those videos I made.
The only team who has the right personnel to credibly guard both of those guys is Boston. I think Boston... and so I'm not sitting here saying they should be the favorite because they shouldn't be the favorite. But I am saying if they get OKC in a series, I don't know who's going to guard the guy Dort's not guarding. And that to me is if you get playoff LeBron and playoff Luka, that is a legitimate threat.
I was trying to understand what Wilds was wearing. Then I realized it's not Wilds.
In every single series they'll play.
Just reading this. The Lakers enter the playoffs as the number 3 seed in the West and prepare to face the Minnesota Timberwolves in the first round.
The best possible path for the Lakers, in my opinion, was having the Thunder, Nuggets, and Clippers on the other side of the bracket. And they do. The Lakers' road to the conference finals is Timberwolves and then either Rockets, Golden State. I don't know how you can credibly play Rudy Gobert the amount of minutes you probably want to play him.
Oh, Nick, I agree with you, except that LeBron James turned Rudy into Rudy Chamberlain. And I would also like to point out that based on game 1, in which Steph Curry was playing, Minnesota, who took out the Lakers, shouldn't even have gotten past the second round.
You then add that the Lakers are getting, they no longer have to deal with playoff D'Angelo Russell.
Oh my God, even now you're still shitting on D'Lo.
Which is a disaster. And instead get to go against playoff Julius Randle, which is a different type of disaster.
Who is that? Anyway, this is, wow, good job, bald-head kid, for grabbing this clip because the Lakers made Julius Randle look fantastic.
That's nice. They don't have Darvin Ham with his hands in his pockets.
You know, I've heard many people talk about that. Why does that matter? You really need coaches running up and down with their hands waving in the air to be impressed, because Phil Jackson didn't do that. Phil Jackson barely changed his emotions most of the time. So let me guess, you're not impressed with Phil Jackson anymore either.
Drawing up on the whiteboard, contest without fouling. They've got JJ, who's been up for 39 straight hours, figuring out how to blitz Anthony Edwards. All that's good. You also have a series that, because Luka is going to want to make Rudy Gobert cry, LeBron's going to be able to sit back.
And sorry, I don't know who the other guy is, but he's having a good time with this.
Back the first 3 quarters like he did in that Mavs game. We saw Luka with a worse supporting cast beat this team in 5 to go to the finals last year. Now,
Oh my God, Nick, you are, wow. I mean, that part's right, but wow, you just destroyed LeBron on accident.
Ant said I got tired, which was odd, and Ant won't be tired this time. But you also have LeBron with 8 days off coming into it. Do you agree with me that certainly if they win this, he has hit a bigger imprint on the Lakers than the Heat? LeBron's career has gone 7 years in Cleveland, 4 in Miami, 4 in Cleveland, 7 with the Lakers. So if we assume, as I think we all do, that he's going to be a Laker next year, the longest single tenure with one team that he would have ever had would be with the Lakers.
And Nick and Colin Cowherd and the rest of them don't understand why that's disgusting.
And if they get a second championship, after having their only 6-year, real drought in team history, it certainly
With LeBron, by the way.
guarantees him a statue out front of Staples.
Jesus Christ.
Guarantees him a statue. It certainly guarantees him a statue out front of Staples. I am not going to act like this was nothing. This was not nothing. Now, is it enough for me to be like, oh, the Lakers can't beat them? No. Do I think the Lakers are the better team? Yes. Do I still think the Lakers will win the series? Yes.
Let's look at Luka's numbers real quick there. Luka 37, 12 of 22. And this was, of course, when Kendrick Perkins came out and said that he didn't care about any of that. Luka needs to do other things.
No. Do I think the Lakers are the better team? Yes. Do I still think the Lakers will win the series? Yes. The difference was the Lakers' defense, and the most impactful, most engaged, best defensive player on the court was the oldest guy on the court.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oldest guy in the league, and that was the story of the game from the opening tip. The guy who you saw from the very beginning that was setting the tone defensively was LeBron James. All of us, in all seriousness, thought if the games are close down the stretch, it favors the Lakers, and maybe, it would have if they weren't dog tired. One of the biggest reasons the Lakers are down 3-1 is because the guy who was supposed to be the best player in the series has been the third best. Because it has been Ant, LeBron, Luka. And LeBron has been wildly impactful on the defensive end. It hasn't mattered. You know what I mean? He has been incredibly efficient. After LeBron got the block and the steal.
I already did several videos on this. I mean, none of this is true. I'll take forever if I add back in footage and breakdowns that I've already done. I guess I'll just link them. But I'll at least put this up because this tells you quite a bit by itself. Luka Doncic is the leader for the Lakers in the series. Now, if you look at the numbers between Luka and Edwards, Luka actually is leading in points and right there with Edwards in the other categories. So what Nick Wright said is untrue. You could say that the order is Luka, Edwards, then LeBron. But I don't even think LeBron comes in third. You got to look at the box scores again. But I'll tell you one thing for sure. Luka destroyed LeBron James in the box score, except for the one night that he was sick.
On consecutive possessions,
Yes.
and they have the ball up to a minute left, and LeBron is honestly chilling out on the deep wing. Luka, you have the ball a minute left, a bucket and you win the game, and Luka was more gassed than LeBron, ends up pitching it to LeBron, and LeBron takes a deep three, misses it, and then the game
Oh my God.
goes to Hill.
Oh, he didn't show it. Okay, maybe I am going to have to show that.
It's to James. James puts up a three. Rebound McDaniels.
So Nick Wright made it sound like this pass was a terrible decision. I'd like to know what is so bad about this pass. I'd like to know why LeBron James can't just hit an open three. I mean, wouldn't that solve the problem instead of having to turn around and blame other people, as always happens? Just get it done, LeBron, and that'll solve everything.
Here,
You know that if LeBron did what Nick is criticizing Luka for doing, that we would be hearing the make the right play story.
here's the thing. I think JJ did a poor job this series. We're going to talk more about it later. The reason I believed the Lakers could win the championship was not because I thought Austin Reeves was a star. It was, and so
Austin gave him 16 points a game. I mean,
What's so bad about that?
he was Austin.
What do you want from
I
Austin
didn't pick the Lakers because I thought we were going to get A+ Austin Reeves performances, and you got C- Austin Reeves performances. One of the biggest criticisms I have about JJ is not recognizing that just because LeBron will play 42 minutes a game, the same number of minutes per game he was playing at 20, doesn't mean it should be going on at 40.
Okay, once again, let's not pretend that LeBron James doesn't call the shots. I've seen LeBron James put his hand up and have the coach immediately respond and pull LeBron James whenever the hell LeBron James feels like he needs to come out of the game, which is usually while he's simultaneously telling the world that he doesn't get tired. Now, we saw what happened to Darvin Ham when Darvin Ham tried to implement minute restrictions on LeBron, and LeBron complained about that and got Darvin Ham fired. Okay, but JJ Redick should be able to do it, right, Nick? All I can say is thank God LeBron stayed in, because the more times that LeBron came out, the greater the chances of the Lakers winning would become.
Where the lion's share of this blame lays for the Lakers is at the feet of the
I'm sorry, but if everyone recalls one of the video breakdowns I did, Luka was being called LeBron's sidekick. So don't turn around and talk about LeBron being 40 and, hey, everyone else should be carrying the load because he's 40, while you're still saying that he's the leader of the team and the best player on the team, even when you bring over Luka.
person who made us optimistic about the Lakers, which is Luka. This is the first series of his basketball life where it was either he had the advantage from the team around him or it was a fair fight, and his team lost because he didn't deliver.
Holy shit.
But the biggest reason the Lakers underachieved is because in this series Luka did. And you're allowed to have that happen, but that to me is bigger than JJ or Austin or LeBron in the fourth, any of it.
Oh my God. Well, like I said, I already broke that series down. I'll just encourage everybody to watch those. I'm not going to re-edit it all back in. So They got the bubble ring right before this. Again, it was a shortened season. I don't count it as a championship, and I wish people would stop saying that LeBron is 4-6. He's not. And then the season before that, they didn't make the playoffs either. Yeah. And it's not just that this has not been a successful tenure. It's also cost the Lakers a fortune. All right. So I guess that's the end. Let me wrap this up. Actually, this is an hour and 47 minutes. I think I'm going to wrap it up right now.